Hi there, this is Scribbly again with another product review. Today it's not a fountain pen or a notebook review. Today it's a review of something that let me call it a creativity tool. It's a brush pen and it's called the Pentel ColourBrush. To start the whole thing off, I'll cover the tool itself in a bit, and we will try it out a little bit. I'll show you how it works and stuff like that. But of course, this is just a demonstration now here, and in combination with the review. And I've already done some product testing. So before we jump into looking at what the ColourBrush itself is like, and before we, let me adjust the camera a little bit here, straighten it out, yeah. And before we, look at how it performs, I'll briefly show you what it is. So the ColourBrush is, and I got an information brochure here from Pentel Germany. It's a part of the Pentel Arts portfolio. They have different kind of thing, a water brush, and I'll show you the comparison to a water brush performance in a bit. Then this is another brush pen, and then we have this ColourBrush here. And so what is the ColourBrush? The ColourBrush looks like that. It's a brush pen. You uncap it, you can post it on the backside. You have like a tip here, and so I'll translate that for you on the fly here. It says that it's a brush pen with a large scale or with a big aquarelle ink or aquarelle color barrel here that contains the ink or whatever is in there. It's supposed to be an ideal brush for scribbles, layouts, illustrations, mangas, and calligraphy, and many more. Then it says that it's available in different colors, and it says that you can mix those colors among each other, and you can also use additional water to mix the colors and to blur them into each other. Then it says that it has a nylon tip which always gets back into shape, so it doesn't lose shape and sort of like feathers out and stuff. It always will retain this sharp shape here, and I'll show you that also in a bit. And it's available in 18 colorful colors. And then again, you can unscrew the barrel from the tip, and you can just keep that tip here and buy a refill. All right. So that's that, and then I'll show you what kind of colors are available. It's all those colors here. The ColourBrush is available in all those color numbers. Here you have the references. So this is like lemon yellow, plus or a pale orange, saffron, bright orange, red, purple, pink, bright green, olive green, turquoise, sky blue, steel blue, sepia, brown, gray, and black. Those are the colors available. So that's that with a little bit information. Of course, I tried the pen a little bit, those pens a little bit, and all that. And so I'll let you have a peek at my notes, because I really want to get it. Don't want to talk so much. I really want to get into the product demonstration. So my impression of the pen. These are my notes here. It's a really cool toy. I find it's a toy. For me, it's a toy. It's very portable. The ink dries relatively fast. This nylon tip will allow you to do strokes in a width of 1 to 10 millimeters. It's a water-based color to produce watercolorish, aquarellish effects. It's sort of an ink apparently, but to me personally, it looks more like a marker with a color style than a true watercolor. And we'll have a look at that also in a live demonstration. And then some prices. It costs $8 at pentel.com. 7 to 13 euro on Amazon.de. I don't know why the price varies like that. And then here in Sweden, there's penstore.se. And you can get the brush, that whole thing here for 79 Swedish crowns, which would be around 8 euro or 8 euro 50 or something like that. And then the refill, which is just that back part here, you could get for 29 Swedish crowns. So all in all, I thought that this is not a super cheap tool, and you're probably not gonna buy all 18 available colors, yeah, maybe, I mean, I think for coloring and all that, you might want to have keep when color range is important, you might want to go to a regular brush, water brush with watercolors, and we'll talk about that in a second as well. But otherwise, if you want to use it, for example, for hand lettering, for which I find it's a pretty cool tool, then you're probably fine with just a couple of colors. But then it has ink in here, and you can hear that probably. I think it's quite a lot actually that's in there, so it should last for a pretty long time. I mean, like, I'm using them for a little while now, a couple of weeks, and okay, I don't write with them as much as with the fountain pen, of course, but anyway, I think it should last a while. So and then I have another small note here where I wrote it's a brush pen in the real sense of the word. A brush pen hybrid, or rather a brush marker hybrid, not leaning clearly towards either side of being a brush or being a pen. So that's that. So when we look at that thing here, you see that it has just it has a plastic barrel. It says Japan at the back side of that barrel here. This is probably for helping you with a proper grip so that it doesn't slide out of the hands or whatever when it lays in your hand. It's a pretty long thing. Then you have a cap here. It says, what does it say here? Pentel ColourBrush. Then around that band here, it tells you the color of the brush. This here is steel blue. And then I also got orange, 107, that is orange. And then, yeah, it has a cap that you can just take off like that. That cap posts to the top, to the back of the pen here if you want to post it, so that you have it stored away. And then you have something like a feed here. This is where that ink or whatever color it has comes through. The feed is here at the front of it, and then you have the tip here, which is this nylon brush tip. And you see actually that it has a pretty fine tip here at the front that really allows you to produce very light strokes. And you can then, of course, unscrew that thing here. I don't want to do that right now because I don't know if it has sort of a stuff in here that has soaked the ink up, or whether the ink in here is really just a liquid, and it sounds like that, so I don't want to unscrew that right now because I'm afraid that the ink will then pour all over my fingers. And of course the blue pen and any pen in any other color will exactly look the same, right? You saw it a bit better on the orange because it's brighter. The blue here also, you see the tip, very sharp tip. And so if you compare that, for example, with a Pentel water brush that I also have here, you see that it's pretty similar makeup. Those caps here are pretty much the same. If you remove those caps, let me use the orange one, you see it better. The tip and the whole construction of the thing is pretty much the same. The feed looks pretty much the same. Here it's of course water coming through, here it's ink coming through, and the screw-on mechanism is pretty much the same, which led me to suspect, but I've not tried that, it's just a suspicion, that maybe once you write that thing here empty, you could probably refill that with water and then use that just as a water brush. But I don't know, that I'll have to try that. So let's look at how the whole writing works. And before I really write on a plain surface, I just wanted to show you, and maybe I show you that best like this here, what the tip actually does, or how it looks when the tip touches the paper. So you see that a little bit, right? I mean, like, I can really like spread it out like this, and the tip just jumps back into shape, right? I mean, like, I can do something like this here. I can really press it down quite nastily, and that whole thing sort of just retains shape. So that's that. And I think you can also already see that it is a pretty wet story here. but it looks a little bit more markerish than it actually looks watercolorish. But we'll also have a look at that. And then in the beginning, to activate the ink to come, you have to press on the barrel a little bit, like as you press on the water brush. So to make the water flow, you press on that also here to make the ink flow. And actually you don't have to repress so often. I mean, like I actually have just pressed on it once in the beginning when I activated the pen, or when I started using it when it was new, but actually I never ever had to press on that again. This is already, I can show you a little bit of it. This is just a regular 80-gram college block here, 80-gram paper. So you also see that there's not so much of, like, now I've applied quite a lot of that ink or whatever it is here, and you see that there's actually not so much of a bleed through. So there's a lot of ghosting, but no bleed through. I've used it in my Leuchtturm bullet journal in order to, like, create some hand lettering headlines and so, and that works pretty well. So now I'll turn the camera a bit and show you a little bit for a couple of minutes or seconds or whatever what you can actually, like, do with it. So let me use the blue one. Of course, as I said, like, that pen allows you to do very, very fine strokes. Like, you can really get like tiny hairlines of that sort, right? Very, very, very fine hairlines. You can do very, very quick strokes, something like that, that will now allow you to see a little bit, like a little bit more ink laid down here and a little bit less here. So that gives you sort of a, I don't know, like marker or whatever style. But of course you can, if you execute the line a little bit slower, of course you get a very, very dark line with much more ink put down on the paper, right? You see that. And then of course, so you can sort of go from here to something like that. If I now use the whole brush side, right? So that is about, very fine. That is about the line variation that I can get here with this pen. And so of course what I can use it for, I can use it quite nicely for, I don't know, you know, I mean, like, you can just use it for a little bit of drawing, of course. Like, you can maybe draw a flower like this. You know, I'm not the greatest artist on the planet, but you know, like, I don't know, I mean, you get the idea. Then you can blend the colors into each other, right? You see that. I can do something like that here. I don't know what that shall be now. I'm just trying to show you how the colors mix, sort of. So, like, they're pretty, like, they cover up a lot as well. Let me try the orange on that blue here. What happens? Yeah, you see that. So what you can do some nice, I use them mostly to practice a little bit hand lettering, because I find that is quite pleasant. So let me try to write something here. I'm not that good at hand lettering, but it helps me to practice that a little bit. So I could maybe write Pentel here. You know, you get the idea. As I said, I'm not the greatest artist on this planet. Pentel ColourBrush. So that's what you could use it for. So you saw the line variation, you saw the colors a little bit, and what I wanted to compare it now with for you, I got with an actual marker maybe. I got two other brush pens here. These are Neuland markers, and I got them. I have similar colors here. So let me. So this here is the Pentel brush in blue. In orange, and that here would be the Pentel brush in blue, right? And now I'll do the same just for you to see with a Neuland fine one in orange. I mean, you also get quite, of course, a lot of line variations with those ones. Line variation with those ones, you can do that similarly. But this is more or less to just show you what I meant when saying that pen is actually closer to a marker and then to watercolor. And now I have a little bit of standard watercolor here that I'll try to use here. Let me use a little bit of, just press here a little bit to get the water flowing. Something like bluish here. Oh, this is quite wet. What I'm using here is a lot of water. Let me see if I can get that a bit drier. Yeah, like that maybe. And then I try to use something slightly orangish that I have here. Some orange to compare that. Like this. And I hope that, I'll have a look at it in a bit, just clean out the brush a little. And I do think that you can see that, I mean, watercolor, of course, does look different than the Pentel brush. This is the Pentel brush. This was the Neuland, and that is the watercolor. But then, of course, what those Pentel brushes, color brushes, will allow for is something like this here, right, or something like that here, which some like broken lines that you don't really get with regular marker brush pen, because they will lay down a much more consistent line. But then anyway, so that's what I meant when I was saying it's really a hybrid in between a brush pen or a watercolor and a regular marker brush pen, not really leaning towards either side, because it has, as you can see here with the shading, it has some watercolor characteristics, but then it doesn't really look exactly as watercolor. Yeah, so I think that's more or less all that there is to say about those brush pens. I find they're really fun toys to use. They're portable. They're great tools. You can just carry them with you. They cost around $8, $9, euro, 80 crowns, whatever. They're not ridiculously cheap, but I think the ink capacity is quite large. It will last for quite a while. And yeah, I think they are fun tools to use. So I hope that review of the brush pen, of the ColourBrush, was helpful to you, and I'll see you at the next review. Bye.